Now, live from the Cake Studios, this is Good Morning KAKEland.
Good morning, KAKEland. Thanks very much for joining us here. We are less than an hour away from an update from the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation after two unidentified bodies were recovered yesterday in the search for the missing Hugoton, Kansas women, Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly.
It will have a joint press conference with the FBI, the Texas County Sheriff's Department, and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. That is at 10 o'clock this morning. It comes as the community is still trying to find some healing.
Let us continue praying for Veronica and Jillian's families, their friends, our churches, this community, as we grieve the loss of two amazing ladies, two very caring, giving, and encouraging ladies.
This is Pastor Tim Singer continuing to lift up his congregation. This is over at the Hugoton Assembly of God yesterday morning, asking for people to think of the families of Veronica Butler, shown here on the left, and Jillian Kelly on the right. He shared that message amid so many developments with this investigation of the missing women.
And this is a story that is quickly developing, and there's a lot that's happened in just the past 24 hours now. So Annette has a breakdown of that timeline for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of information, Shane, to go through here with that timeline of events. So take a look with me. So the women, they went missing 2 weekends ago, back on March 30th, so the day before Easter. It was that Saturday morning that they were on their way to pick up Veronica's kids in Oklahoma. Their vehicle, it was found abandoned in a rural part of Oklahoma, about 50 miles southwest of Hugoton. And by that evening, the women were listed as missing and endangered. Then on April 3rd, what we found out from investigators is that foul play was suspected in this case, and that's based on what was found inside of the vehicle.
And Saturday, 4 arrests were made in connection to this case. Now, this includes Tiffany Adams, Tad Cullum, Cole Twombly, and Kara Twombly. They were booked on 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree.
And then yesterday, the OSBI confirmed that 2 bodies were found in a rural part of the county where the women were heading to. They told us that the bodies are being taken to the medical examiner's office for identification and to learn how they died. We do expect to learn details about the arrest and the bodies found and if the bodies are of these missing women. Again, that press conference will begin at 10 o'clock this morning, so less than an hour away. So we encourage you, we're going to have that here live on Cake News. So right after Good Morning KAKEland, we'll also have it streaming on our social media pages as well as an update on Cake News at 11. But in the meantime, a lot to go through here, of course. A couple of fundraisers to support the women's families. So I had a chat with the folks from GoFundMe, and they were able to verify for us to make sure that your money is going to the right place if you'd like to support them. So a couple of fundraisers, just a couple of $1,000s for these women in each one of them. But the goal is to raise at least $20,000 a piece. If you'd like to support their families, you can see information with these fundraisers over at kake.com.
And as this story develops, we'll continue to bring you the latest coverage on air and online at kake.com. Our team, once again, is at the Oklahoma News Conference, so we'll be streaming it live right here at 10 a.m. on kake.com as well. Social media sites, we'll have it all covered for you here as we kick off the 9 o'clock hour, though, here on Good Morning KAKEland, April 15th.
Yeah, a lot to go through with that big story for today. And for a lot of people in the rest of the state, though, too, gosh, the weather is certainly a hot topic, too, Frank.
Yeah, there's a lot going on this Monday. Let's go ahead and try to break this down for you. We are looking at clouds rolling into south central Kansas. Some of those clouds really quite low this morning, kind of foggy at times in and around Wichita. We're going to see those clouds sticking around for a while. That's what one of our weather models is thinking, and I happen to agree. As we head toward lunch hour, still kind of on the cloudy side, and as we head toward quitting time, 5:30, you're headed home from work. I think for the most part, the radar is going to be dry, but we're going to be watching for some development. We may see some development as early as, say, 7, 8, 9 o'clock along a dry line, or it may be after that as well. Still some questions about when these things fire up. The general zone, though, has been relatively consistent, kind of out here in the vicinity of US 283. 283 stretches from Hill City down to Waukene, down to around Dodge City. If you're west of that line, your chances of seeing storms relatively low. You live east of it, better chances. Now, unfortunately, those storms, while they could bring some beneficial rain, they could also really pack a punch when it comes to severe weather. Wind gusts could exceed 60 miles per hour. hailstones. That may be the big factor with these, and those could exceed 2 inches. That's the size of an egg. So you had eggs for breakfast this morning. That gives you an idea of what those could be like. And again, it could be bigger than that. And some tornadoes not out of the question, especially some of those early cells if they remain isolated. And that's kind of what our weather model is showing there for a time. Now, eventually, it may form into a line, and as that happens, kind of more of a wind hail threat. But these storms, they move into north central Kansas, could be quite severe. The concern is, look at this, it's midnight as they're moving through. You're going to be sleeping. We want you to make sure you have a way of getting those alerts. As we get into tomorrow morning, a lot of that rain headed out. Maybe a little light rain tomorrow, mainly north of I-70 with maybe a late day shower in south central. In addition to that threat today, we've got the wind to contend with. In western Kansas, we can see wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. It is going to be rocking. High fire danger western Kansas. We've got that red flag warning. It goes until 8 p.m. Nobody in the state, though, has any business doing any burning or working with heat sources that could ignite wildfires because of the wind situation. 66 in Hutch. There's the view in Salina. You're also in the clouds. It's 67. Southeast wind at about 4, and cloudy in Hayes now. We're at 63. There's our view to the northeast from downtown Wichita. Southeast wind at 13. Temperatures across the state, 50s, 60s at this hour, with 48 still in Syracuse. Headed for highs in the low 80s, south central. So Hutch, El Dorado, Wichita, mid 80s, Salina, western Kansas, upper 80s for you. High fire danger, western Kansas. Then overnight tonight, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Those storms trying to slide to the east. Here's your 7-day. The chances of rain tomorrow in and around Wichita pretty slim. Looking sunny and dry on Wednesday, 76 the high. 50s and 60s for highs Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Chance for showers, but the amounts from that going to be really limited. That's the thinking at this point. And look at your weekend, 50s and lower 60s. It's kind of garage sale season for some communities. That's going to be some chilly shopping if you're out there early, especially lows down in the low 40s. Let's go to north central Kansas, highlighted in yellow because that severe weather threat today. Could see some more rain tomorrow, though amounts a little bit lower, generally north of I-70. Slight chances of light rain Wednesday through Saturday. Temperatures this weekend, the morning lows down in the mid to upper 30s. Southwest Kansas, 72 tomorrow, 76 on Wednesday with the mid to upper 50s Thursday into Friday. Friday to Saturday, chance for showers. Morning lows could still be flirting with frost there across southwest Kansas. Northwest Kansas, 66 tomorrow, 72 on Wednesday. Lower 50s Thursday into the weekend. Morning lows could also dip down below freezing. So much going on in this forecast. We want you to stay weather aware. Vast majority today in Wichita, no issues whatsoever other than the wind. It's tonight we see that severe weather threat, maybe even greater in north central Kansas. And it's an overnight event. You got to have a way of waking up should there be a warning needed. So Cake First Alert weather upgrade option, NOAA weather radio. Think of that thing as like a smoke detector for storms.
Yeah, just one of those things that we'd expect maybe to start ramping up here in the middle of April.
It is that time of the year we start seeing more activity like this, and yeah, today's one of them.
Yeah.
Well, big news day, big weather day. We have a lot of lighter things to keep us covered on as well here on Good Morning KAKEland.
Yeah.
We'll be slipping on some dancing shoes in a bit.
Let's do it.
Getting
Well,
our
Frank
fork and
is,
spoon
not us,
out. Yeah, well, we shall see. But we encourage you to keep it on here in Good Morning KAKEland as we move on forward. Welcome back to Good Morning KAKEland. It's 9:31 right now, and time to check in on those local headlines.
Yeah, KAKE's Hannah King joins us with what's happening right now. Good morning, Hannah.
Good morning, Shane, and good morning, Annette. We continue to follow breaking news from overnight of an apartment fire in East Wichita that sent 5 people to the hospital. The fire is under control at this time, but crews say the building is a total loss because of water damage. The Wichita Fire Department says it happened just before 2 this morning at the Park Meadows apartment complex on East Boston. That's near Harry and Webb. Crews say when they arrived, they saw heavy flames and smoke coming from the 2nd floor.
So the whole building itself is not going to be livable. Okay. So right now at this time, the fire was contained to all of the 2nd floor, and the 1st floor apartments are going to have quite a bit of water damage from the amount of water and fire that was involved to be able to extinguish the fire itself.
And we will continue to follow this today and bring you the latest both on air and online at KAKE.com. A developing story this morning as the FBI and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation will provide an update in about half an hour on the 2 Kansas women who disappeared nearly 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, the OSBI reported finding 2 bodies in rural Texas County, Oklahoma, though at this time they have not confirmed who those individuals are. But the report was added to a post about Jillian Kelly and Veronica Butler from Hugoton. The OSBI says the bodies will be transported to the medical examiner's office for ID and to find out the cause of death. Well, Saturday, agents announced 4 people were arrested in connection to the case. They were booked into Texas County's jail for 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. Investigators say there are no other suspects at this time, but anyone with any information is still urged to contact investigators. That number right there for tips, and that phone number is right there on your screen. That news conference that we mentioned will take place at 10 o'clock. We do have a crew down there, by the way, to provide the latest for you. We will also carry that news conference at the end of Good Morning KAKEland here live. You can also find it live on our Facebook page as well. Again, it is expected to start at 10. In the meantime, 2 fundraisers have been started for the families of the 2 women, both of which we have been able to verify are legitimate. Both of these fundraisers also have a goal of reaching at least $20,000 for the victims' families. You can visit kake.com for links to both of those as well. Well, members of indigenous communities across the U.S. and right here in Wichita held prayer vigils last night for Coal Brings Plenty. Searchers found the Native American actor dead in Johnson County earlier this month after he had disappeared several days earlier. Maricel Gonzagos organized a prayer vigil last night in Wichita. That was the same day and hour vigils were taking place in Native communities across the country. She attended Haskell Indian Nations University with the Lakota actor. He was featured in the series 1923. And she says she was devastated when searchers found his body on April 5th.
I was heartbroken for my community, for his family. When it came to me being angry, I was angry that not a whole lot was being done as it should have been, had it been anyone else.
And Gallegos and a number of other Wichitans plan on attending Coal Brings Plenty's funeral service this week on the Cheyenne River Reservation in South Dakota. Today, Wichita City leaders will meet with the Homeless Task Force Outreach Group to continue its efforts of achieving functional zero homelessness in our community. That means the number of people entering homelessness is never more than the community's ability to house them. The meeting will take place at 3:30 this afternoon at Century 2. Sedgwick County says over 700 people are currently homeless in the Wichita area. Governor Laura Kelly has been keeping busy with numerous vetoes of controversial bills that have crossed her desk, starting with another measure that would ban gender-affirming care for trans and non-binary youth in Kansas. This included puberty blockers and surgeries. Well, Kelly said in a statement the measure trampled parental rights, adding, "The last place I want to be as a politician is between a parent and a child who needed medical care of any kind." The governor also vetoed a bill requiring more reporting from abortion providers. Kansas abortion among states with Republican-led legislatures. The Kansas Supreme Court declared in 2019 the state constitution protects abortion rights. A statewide vote in August of 2022 kept Republicans from changing that. And in her veto message, Kelly said voters do not want politicians getting between doctors and their patient by interfering in private medical decisions. Well, the governor chose not to veto an anti-pornography bill that earned bipartisan support, instead letting it become law without her signature. The bill requires websites to deploy age verification software to limit online access by Kansas minors to nudity or sexually explicit images and text. Well, under the bill, parents could file a lawsuit and seek damages of $50,000 or more against companies that don't successfully screen minors from sexually explicit content. Well, today, the final phase of the major bridge renovation project on Zoo Boulevard will begin. The traffic signal on Zoo Boulevard at Windmill Road that has not been operated since bridge repairs began in September of last year will be reactivated for several days. Those lights will only flash yellow to let drivers know the traffic signal will soon be operating as normal. This is standard protocol, by the way, for activating or reactivating a traffic signal. The only turning movement allowed during this transition period will continue to be the right turn from Windmill Road to Zoo Boulevard. Well, it's 9:37 on another Monday morning, and it is another warm day for you all in KAKEland. Meteorologist Frank Watt joins us now with a look at that forecast, and you're going to share some information on maybe some overnight severe weather risks, Frank?
That's right. It's an overnight severe risk for much of KAKEland. We want you to have a way of receiving those alerts should they be necessary in your community. Not everybody going to be impacted by it, but some of you will. Here's a look at the past 12-hour satellite and radar picture. You can see the clouds sliding on in, and we're likely going to hang on to those clouds through the lunch hours. We head toward quitting time. There we are at 5:30. I still think we're dry, but we're going to be keeping our eyes on the radar. May see some storms that try to get going western Kansas, and they might try, but I think they're really going to struggle. We're going to watch these close, but eventually out here somewhere, kind of in the vicinity of 283 is what we're looking at. So 283, if you don't know, runs from Dodge City up through Ness City, up through Waukene, up to Hill City. So that's the north-south highway there. Somewhere in that ballpark, some storms fire up, and then they go east and northeast. Now, those storms could present a high wind threat, up over 60 miles per hour easily. Hailstones with this could be big time. I mean, 2 inches or bigger. That's not out of the question. That's the size of an egg, and some tornadoes not out of the question either. Let's show you this. Here we are at 10 o'clock. One concern is we may not see the real robust stuff firing up until maybe after 10. That's when you're trying to sleep. But here we are at midnight. This stuff could be severe, but I think this stuff up here may warrant most of our attention if it plays out like this. And then the rain kind of heads out of here tomorrow. If we get any rain tomorrow, mainly north of I-70 and fairly light. In addition to that storm threat, we've also got wind today to contend with. Look at western Kansas. We could be dealing with wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. That's going to kick up the fire threat, and the 40 and 50 and maybe 60 mile per hour wind gusts will be back tomorrow. There's the fire threat today. Western Kansas, red flag warning. Some of that fire threat may shift eastward tomorrow. Kind of depends if we get a little rain. Here's a look at the conditions in Hutchinson as we speak. Quite a bit of cloud cover and quite moist out there. Dew point at 66, air temperature 67. So that humidity is way up for the time being. In Salina from the KSAL radio studios, doing some work down there on the Cozy Inn, it looks like. 66 degrees, southeast wind at 11. In Hayes, you got kind of this cloud cover, but some sun maybe trying to break through at 67. And there's the view in Garden City where it is a bit brighter. 62 your temp. Cloudy sky in Wichita, temperature just shy of 70. Southeast wind at about 14. Temperature of 70 in El Dorado, 67 in Pratt, 67 Russell, 65 at Boot Hill, 59 in Colby at the Oasis. Your forecast for today should make it into the low to upper 80s. It's going to be a little cloud dependent in spots. Plenty of wind and that late day storm chance with better chances erupting tonight. 40s, 50s, and 60s. 60 Wichita, 60 Salina, 50 in Dodge, low to mid 40s, Goodland and Colby. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Beyond today, these rain chances looking pretty slim and really quite light. The chances of getting measurable rain really small. 78 your high tomorrow, 76 on Wednesday. Ton of sunshine on Wednesday. Enjoy that. It's a day game at Riverfront Stadium on Wednesday, so maybe a rare opportunity to get out there during the day, enjoy some sunshine. Temps in the mid 70s. We're in the 50s and 60s Thursday through Sunday, and again, those rain chances don't get your hopes up for anything overly significant. North Central 78 tomorrow, chance for some rain mainly north of I-70, kind of hit and miss kind of stuff. 74 Wednesday, back down. 50s and 60s for highs this weekend. Morning lows could dip into the 30s. Southwest Kansas 72 tomorrow, mid 70s on Wednesday, back in the 50s for highs Thursday. Friday morning lows dropping down into the 30s. That's Saturday morning down around freezing. And Northwest Kansas, chances of rain really beyond today and tomorrow, looking pretty small and very light. And those morning lows quite cold. Saturday morning, Sunday morning could be sub-freezing. We've talked last week a lot about spring sports and how this last weekend for youth spring sports, like it was nice. Next weekend, you might be reconsidering letting your kids play spring sports again because if it's breezy in the low 40s.
Where are we? What is this?
KAKEland.
Yeah.
That's right. The weather whiplash of Kansas.
Yeah.
Welcome. Where heat and AC are flexing their muscles.
Yeah.
What's the margin for error on that? Like,
Back and forth.
Like, what's the chance that it just be another weekend like we just had?
Like not.
Not at all.
0.
Oh, wow. That's confident.
Yeah.
All right. You do
Bro.
you, man.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
He's keeping it real. Hey, things are heating up in the kitchen, though, here in KAKEland. We have a couple of students coming back from a competition. Things are sizzling with them. We're going to hear their story coming up next right here in the show. Keep it here.
Sizzler?
Sizzler.
Welcome back at 9:55. This morning, the FBI and Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations will provide an update on the 2 missing women from Hugoton.
The OSBI reports finding 2 bodies in rural Texas County, Oklahoma yesterday. And the report that they shared was added to a post about Jillian Kelly and Veronica Butler from Hugoton. The OSBI says the bodies will be transported to the medical examiner's office for identification and the cause of death. Investigators have not confirmed that these bodies are of Kelly and Butler.
Our team is in Oklahoma at the news conference, which is starting in just a few moments. We'll be streaming it live on air right here at 10 a.m. on KAKE, as well as on our social media channels and our website, KAKE.com. So stick with us for that. We'll be right back. All right, once again, we're keeping an eye on that news conference, but we're also keeping an eye on the weather with Frank.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy day today, and we're going to have team coverage this afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Jay Prater will be in, Cameron Venable, Brooklyn Ray, and Brittany Foster, I think, also going to be joining the team tonight to help them out. And then I'll be back here early tomorrow morning. Let's show you the threat zone we're tracking. Large chunk of KAKEland, late day storms into the overnight, big time hail possibility, and some tornadoes not out of the question with the strongest cells that do develop. We got quite a bit of cloud cover right now in and around Wichita. And there's that view from downtown looking to the southwest. 68 degrees southeast wind at about 14. Temperatures a little cooler western Kansas, where you're in the 50s and 60s right now. 66 in Dodge, made to 70 in Medicine Lodge, 69 in Great Bend. Learn more about that severe weather threat. Go to KAKE.com.
Okay, and in a moment, we'll have that live coverage of that press conference involving those missing women from Kansas. So keep it here.
Now, a breaking news update from KAKE News on your side.
We cut in with breaking news here at KAKE. The FBI and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations are providing an update on 2 missing women from Hugoton.
And right now we're going to join that news conference live. Let's listen.
He's going to have an opportunity to talk. You guys will have an opportunity to ask questions. So again, my name is Hunter McKee, Hunter. I'm the Public Information Manager with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. We have the director of the OSBI, Angela Spurlock, here, the deputy director of the OSBI, Stephen Carter. We also have representatives with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We have the Texas County Sheriff, and we also have the district attorney. So we are going to start with a few words from the director of the OSBI, Angela Spurlock.
Good morning. I appreciate you all coming today. As Hunter said, my name is Angela Spurlock, the director for the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. As you all know, we have been working very diligently for the last 2 weeks to bring closure to the families. This has been challenging for everybody involved. This case did not end the way we had hoped. It has certainly been a tragedy for everybody involved. The mission of the OSBI, though, is to protect Oklahoma one partnership at a time, and certainly this case is an example of how those partnerships work and how it takes everybody coming together to bring resolution. And so while I am very grateful for all of my agents that have worked since the very beginning, 24 hours a day, to get us to the point we are today, we could not have reached where we're at without the partnerships of the Texas County Sheriff's Office, the District 1 District Attorney's Office, without our FBI partners, and without the assistance of the Oklahoma Medical Examiner's Office and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol that could not be here. So our condolences go out to the family, and we will continue to update you as we continue to move this investigation forward. And now I'm going to now turn it over to our FBI partners. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sonia Garcia. I'm acting special agent in charge for the Oklahoma City Field Office, FBI. On behalf of the entire FBI, I want to express our sincerest condolences to the family and loved ones of Veronica and Jillian. The FBI was requested to assist on this matter on April 4th, and since then we've had a dedicated team of analysts, agents, evidence response and tactical personnel working around the clock and alongside with OSBI and Texas County Sheriff's Office to bring the individuals responsible for this crime into custody and to provide a sense of closure to the families and to this community. Know that we are grieving with you today. We will continue to work with our partners and to be an advocate for Jillian and Veronica and to ensure that justice will be served. Thank you.
The OSBI covers all kinds of cases. Each case is different in their own way. They're all just as important to us, but you know, this case was tragic. You have two people who are dead, and four people that committed an absolutely brutal crime. And so, again, that's why it took every agency involved in this in order to get this done.
Those four are still being held here?
Yes. Is everybody good? Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
And we just heard from Hunter McKee with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, an update on the developing story of two women missing from southwest Kansas. Now, they say that from all the different law enforcement agencies involved, they want justice to be served, but they could not confirm that the bodies that were found this weekend in Texas County, Oklahoma, were of the women that were missing.
Yeah, no confirmation there, but the OSBI director did say this case did not end how we hoped it would when referencing the two women that they were investigating. Another official sending her condolences to the families, naming them by name. So obviously tight-lipped investigation, not wanting to jeopardize that investigation at all right now. Right. And there is some new information, apparently unsealed documents available at the courthouse. So that's something that we'll be tracking down today.
We're working to get that, but we can tell you that 4 people were booked and they were arrested this weekend, and they were arrested on 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in this ongoing situation down in Oklahoma. So we'll keep you posted on everything. We'll have more information, of course, that we're gathering right now, and we'll share those updates on Cake News at 11, as well as throughout the day here on Cake.
That's right. Much more to come. Thanks so much for joining us here for this Cake News breaking news special update, and we'll have you returned to The View at this time.